Washington.
This your boy, Martin for here once again.
Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is your boy Jamardi4 here once again, and we're going to be talking about this week's episode of Rupauls Drag Race called DROOP. But before we get into it, I want to thank you guys so much for being so supportive and so excited about last week's review. I wasn't sure how that format would take, seeing as I know people are used to me doing more extended, long time reviews, but I mean, I think the short and sweet really kind of got to the point, and a lot of people really enjoyed the different little jokes that I gave. So thank y'all again so much for that. I'm going to try to continue that trend going forward, and so we're going to talk about this week's episode, DROOP, starting now. So the girls come in fresh off of Britta's elimination, and Jan is sitting there crying. She's sitting there frustrated, and from the previews, we're assuming that she's, upset about the fact that she didn't win, but she's really hyping on the fact that Britta went home and how close she is. Now, I don't want to deny that that's the fact, but Jada clocked what we all were thinking, and it's not like we want to completely dismiss the fact that you were upset about Britta, but I can't help but feel like it's more frustration with the fact that you didn't win that last challenge. Mini challenge. So this week the girls are asked to pair up in twos and sell boxes to each other or give boxes to each other with this FabFitFun brand. And they just have to, you ever had those group of friends where if you guys are, close, you guys exchange things, but you always shade each other in the process? That's how you know you're a real good friend. If I can shade you and you not take it personally, then that means that we're cool. If I want to pick out some of the standouts for me, I would say Jackie has some good ones. Gigi, Crystal, and Widow, one of my favorites. We talked to Heidi about the judges are saying that your makeup is horrible, and I wanted to give you a new mug, and she actually handed her a mug. I cackled at that, so that was funny. And the winners of the mini challenge were Jackie and Gigi, and so Jackie's finally happy that she won something, even if it is just a mini challenge. So the Maxi challenge this week is their branding for this company called DROOP, where they all have to sell and shoot a commercial on a product that is a part of their brand. It's an episode that every season does every year, so we know that it's coming, and let's just see how these girls do. Rehearsals. Jackie goes first, and she is selling her merkin. And I don't know if anybody else out there, I know Shaka Khan was later in the episode, but I wasn't completely sure what a merkin was. So I'm like, okay, let her show me what this merkin is. And in her rehearsals, she's giving you this I Dream of Jeannie throwback. And if y'all remember, like back in the old commercials, I think those of us who are at least maybe 30 plus years old can remember those commercials that were horribly edited. And when you would do like a freeze frame and stuff would just appear and poof. Like back in the day, I think I really enjoyed that she did a callback to that, and I thought that was really, really funny. I'm curious though, like I don't know if this is a joke. I swear I don't know what a merkin is. Is this actually supposed to be something you put, or honestly, I'm gonna have to Google that when I get off of here. So Gigi's giving like a spray called Good Night Bitch, and surprisingly, Gigi's been very witty, had a very interesting take on different challenges up until this point as far as a creative standpoint, and this one just felt surprisingly dry. And I'm like, this is very unlike you, Gigi, and I'm just like, well, maybe this will come together in the final edit. We'll have to wait and see. Jan came in to rehearsals with the full idea. She came in guns a-blazing, 100%, all the way from the get-go, from beginning to end, and it was a very overwhelming. It kind of reminded me of like what Alyssa tried to do with her ad, and just being overactive and all over the place and bouncing off the walls, and it's kind of like, okay, slow down. I get where she was going for, but I think she just kind of a little bit too strong. Jada is showing us every week that she is just naturally funny. And even the fact that she just kept touching her mic when she kept referring to herself as being snatched. I was like, even though you kept doing the takes, girl, they were funny each time. And I just live for Jada's sense of humor. It is so good, and I'm just enjoying seeing her every week. Heidi in closet. This episode was made for you. Because when she came out there, I don't even think she's ever done that whistle thing up until this point. And she is really using that gap to her advantage, because that was so funny. And you know how charismatic Heidi is. And she talked about the tears of a drag queen. And I did not anticipate her actually trying to get on the floor and put the tears from her eyeball and into the cup. And she was so funny. And I loved how the director gave her the advice of, it's so weird how when the cameras are off and you're trying to get yourself together, that's when we laugh. Like when you're in that realistic moment, that's when you really shine through. It's like, try to focus that when the cameras are on and you will be perfect. And it's so weird how we kind of get in our own way when we feel like we have to be on. It's just like, just be yourself and it will be good. Widow Von'Du just self-sabotage. That's all I saw that was happening on that rehearsal stage. She is just sitting there self-sabotaging herself because Rue got in her head earlier, like, you haven't been in the top since week 1, and we're kind of looking like, well, where's Miss Widow Von'Du? Like, she's kind of been ghosting in the back, like, and she gets up there and she just forgets every one of her lines. And I feel like she had good material, but because she was in her own head, she wasn't able to properly deliver that material, and she just really got in her own way, and it was really unfortunate to see. Crystal Method. I was confused. But if I know anything about this show, when the way that they edit it and try to make it look like somebody is about to flop or somebody isn't gonna make any sense, they usually end up going around and it making all the sense in the world and being really, really funny. And the way that I was looking at Crystal's commercial was the same way I remember looking at Katya's commercial when she was doing the rehearsal for it in All Stars 2 with her anti-anxiety spray, I believe it was called. And I'm like, where is this gonna go? How is this gonna make sense? But both of these queens are really kooky, so I had faith in Crystal was still gonna pull through. Mirror moments. There really wasn't many mirror moments this week. It was still just a combination of Jan trying to convince us that she is upset and that she was crying over Britta leaving. And I think I speak for America that we don't buy it. Main stage. Rue comes down the runway in like this black and gold ensemble. Like some of the applicants were kind of waiting on side of the dress. Like it wasn't all just a print. You know, there was something on top of it, and I thought that really kind of swayed when she walked. So she looked good. Her hairline was blurred to perfection, as always. But she looked good. It was so great to see Miss Chaka Khan as well. Of course, Ross Matthew and Michelle, as always. So everybody's looking good. And let's get on to the runway. So the theme this week is Black Wedding. Okay, so there's not going to be a lot of different colors and different aspects to this, so it's gonna really narrow down to how creative and how the presentation goes into each of these looks. So let's get started. First up is Jackie. Jackie gave a traditional feminine just gown that was black, but she kind of sold the whole shtick with her facial emotions and her body language. It was a right on the money, just a safe two. Jan was a T-O-O-T this week. It was, first of all, it was already gorgeous from head to toe. The appliques, the little feathers coming up from her chest was amazing. But the ribbon on top was when she turned around and it said, I don't, instead of I do. Like, that was really clever. Those are the little details and calls of humor that I really personally enjoy. So Jan, excellent this week. Jada gave a simple pageant, you know, coiffed hair, bride look, and even though it's considered a simple dress, just the way that she sold it, she even still was exuding humor throughout the runway, and it was very enjoyable to watch. Gigi's gave, or she continued her sort of trend with these kind of slim, trim, real cute, high fashion, couture-esque looks. And I normally don't like dresses that don't hit the floor, but I think she kind of captured it right at the exact length where if she went any longer, it would have been like, oh, I really wish I hit the floor. And she didn't really go any shorter to where it's kind of like a cocktail dress or whatever. So I think she hit the real sweet spot. And of course, her hair and makeup looked amazing. So props to Gigi, this is definitely a 2. Sherry Pie. Heidi in Closet came out this week looking so gorgeous. You could tell that she felt really confident in her look. You could tell that she really was trying to showcase who she is and why she deserves to be there. And it felt, I could tell on her face that she really was feeling herself, and I loved it. She did amazing this week. This gown is gorgeous and looked very expensive. You go, Miss Closet. Widow Von'Du came out with like this veil over her head. Of course, the gorgeous gown. I mean, everybody's gown was gorgeous, honestly. It was all in the presentation. So she had this gorgeous veil, and when she lifted it up, not only did she kind of have like the makeup, little eyes that kind of spread out like little, I'm not even sure what that would be called, but it looked really amazing. She had like the big Alaska-esque that reminded me of contacts that kind of covered her entire pupil. And it was very dark lady, like very like you know, had an aspect of horror to it, and I really liked it. I was like, Vito, you did good this week. You really did. I really enjoyed it. Crystal Method, for me, had my all-time favorite runway this week because it had an entire theme to it. It was an entire character that came down to the details of her gloves being ripped open because she's supposed to be dead. You know, your nails grow when you're dead. There was dust in her wig. Half her face was a skeleton, and she kind of had that whole walk about it. Like, it was all in the body language. I felt like she really just delivered this entire character. She did something very separate from all the other girls, so it made her stand out even more. And Crystal, for me, gets top 2 this week. And now we get to the commercials. I felt like Jackie's was quintessential funny. It had all of the one-liners and all of the jokes of the type of commercials that were way back in, or throwback to that era of I Dream of a Genie. And the best part about her entire commercial was the fact that she kept doing, "For you." Jan commercial felt disjointed. I've had trouble issuing like a connection of what her spray was supposed to do. Like, I guess it just makes you confident, but I don't know, just her delivery just kind of felt all over the place, and it was really unfortunate because you could tell that she was trying really hard. Jada, again, freaking hilarious. She already opened up the line saying she was a terrible actress from Grey's Anatomy, and I'm like, from then on, I just was already cackling. Like, she was doing a whole product on tucking, how it was made from all these random exotic spiders and things like that. Like, she was just pulling random humor tactics, and it was really just an all-around home run. I'm telling y'all, I just love Jada so much. Gigi's commercial, and I hate to say it because I still do love Gigi so much, it was off-putting, and I'll tell you why. Because not only did she kind of be dry in her delivery, which again is very strange because she's been very lively, considering the Madonna from last week, how live she was. This week she felt very dry and uncertain, and I was put off by the fact that she was mentioning how she won these 3 challenge wins and 2 mini challenge wins, and it became all kind of obnoxious to me. I don't know if I'm alone in that. Maybe it's just me and my personal preference, but it was unfortunate to see her get to this place because I feel like this is where she could shoot herself in the foot, get a little too cocky and overconfident, and it could potentially be her downfall. Sherry Pie. Heidi's commercial was exactly what we thought it was going to be. She had all of the comedic elements present. She was all over the place. She even gave the whistle. Like, there was nothing short of a kiki when it came to Heidi's commercial. It really showcased who she was, her sense of humor, and honestly, I can't really even say anything bad about it or what I would have changed. Even when she came back, she said it would cause baldness, and she just came back bald-headed. Like, it was funny. It was just funny. Widow Von Du, it was, I thought maybe the final edit would change something that we saw in the rehearsals, but unfortunately it just did not do it. It was bad. It was just bad. No, there was no saving that. Crystal Method, I was unsure. I was unsure where she was gonna go with that, but honestly, it came out exactly the way that I felt like Katya's was. It was so funny, so clever, and her hammering down on the table, where she was like, I need a table to do some science on, and she started hammering down on the wigs. Like, that's funny, that's kooky, it's so quintessential Crystal, and I really enjoy watching her commercial. And now that we're on the main stage, RuPaul asked that dreaded question that she always has to ask every season: who should go home tonight and why? And literally everyone, all contestants with the exception of Widow herself, said that Widow should go home tonight. And Widow said that Jan should go home just because she's the only other commercial that she thought was as bad as hers. And I was just like, ooh, that. And she was already having a really bad week of being in front of Miss Shaka Khan and not doing well, and she felt really subconscious. So I really felt for Widow in this moment. So we return from the critiques, and we figure out that it is Heidi in Closet who is the winner of this week's challenge. We give our hand claps to Miss Heidi in Closet. She did excellent this week, from her commercial to her runway. And honestly, I felt like it was almost a toss-up between Heidi and Crystal, but I feel like Heidi's commercial was just that much better than Crystal's. Even though I felt like Crystal had a better runway than Heidi, only by a small margin, I feel like the margin that Heidi's commercial was better than hers put her over the top and gave her that win. Greatly deserved. Shout out to Heidi in Closet. And the bottom two this week is Miss Widow Von Du versus Miss Jan. Now, they did This Is My Night by Miss Chaka Khan, and let me tell you something. I've seen many lip syncs in this show, and especially for this season in particular, I felt like both of these bitches wore that out. I knew Widow was going to do well. I wasn't worried about Widow. I wasn't 100% sure what Jan was going to do, but when Jan got out there, she stripped down, like her hair was moving, she was flipping, everyone knew the words. They were both selling the song very well, and I was just like, wow, like this is honestly incredible. And if there was ever a time when they could have done a double Shantae, it could have easily been this week. I went back and I watched the lip sync again. Like, that's how much I enjoyed it. So that's definitely a good sign. Bravo to Widow and Jan. You guys definitely tore that stage down. So unfortunately, it was not a double Shantae, and it was Jan's sport asked to sashay away this week. We love Jan. We're definitely going to see more of Jan. I hope she continues to do Jan's Jukebox on Instagram, where she is literally covering every one of the lip sync songs. She's so talented. Make sure you go follow and support her ongoing in her adventure. Now we move to Untucked, and there's not really too much to get on outside of the fact that Widow was really just having a very low moment, and it was very nice to see the girls try to pick her up, remind her who she is, tell her to get out of her head, and it was very sweet how she was able to come back and meet with Chaka Khan, and Chaka Khan was able to give her, like, you know what, and this is just all around universal advice, the fact that negative thoughts can come in and seep into your mind when you're in your lowest moments, and you just have to really remember that you are that bitch and that you are so much more than your negative thoughts are allowing you to think. So I believe that gave her the fire that she needed to really push herself to win that lip sync, and it was so great to see. It was also so great to see Heidi just in such a positive spirit. Like, she was smiling, her body language was exuding, and her positivity was just coming from her body, and it was so nice and refreshing to see. And it was interesting to see how Gigi was handling harsh critiques for the first time, because it really is the first time that she's ever had a bad critique, and I think she's going to be able to apply it well. She seems to have a very mature aspect to it, and we're going to see how she's going to apply it in next week's challenge. But that was it for my quick take on this week's episode of Rupaul's Drag Race. Thank you guys again so much for your support of these videos. It's really means a lot to me, and I'm going to continue to try to check out these videos so you guys have more and more content from me. Again, I really appreciate it. Make sure you follow me on all my social media. Everything will be in the link down below, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys.
Like, share, subscribe.
Jamar.
Washington.